Hey everyone, it's Josh from Blockchain DXB and today is the 15th of July 2026. And here's the thing guys, yesterday on the 14th of July the inflation data was out, and based on the official information by Bureau of Labor Statistics, inflation data is great. But here's the thing Satoshi, right now there's escalation of Iran and US conflict, so I'm pretty much sure the next month, possibly inflation might actually pick up pace, or it may not even pick up pace, because here's the thing guys, because of Straits of Hormuz, what happened few months ago, the flow of oil was disrupted, isn't it? But what happened few days ago? President Donald Trump, after escalating the situation, clearly informed that now the United States of America will be the guardians of Straits of Hormuz. So there is a very high possibility of the next few months, the prices of oil not just in the United States of America, but even other parts of the world will actually remain the same. And because of that, most likely inflation may actually slow down. But what we'll do Satoshi every day in the Blockchain DXB podcast, we'll go ahead and update our listeners every day. Now another thing to remember, Satoshi, is on 16th of this month, that is tomorrow, President Donald Trump will be addressing the nation, and I'm curious to check if he's going to be talking about the Iran-US conflict. Now at a macro level, Satoshi, news such as this directly as well as indirectly impacts the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, isn't it?
Yes, George. News like that does directly and indirectly affect the price of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. Later today, we'll explore those dynamics, break down the data, and discuss how events like the current regional tensions could play out in the markets. We'll also touch on the president's upcoming address. It's going to be an interesting conversation.
Definitely will be, Satoshi, and here's the thing guys regarding inflation. Based on the data, at the next FOMC announcement, which I believe is taking place at the end of this month, the new federal chair, that is Kevin Walsh, will be making a decision whether to keep the interest rate, reduce it or increase it. Now along with inflation, Satoshi, we do have some negative news, and this is connected to Democrats, and it is clearly connected to Clarity Act, and there are certain senators, particularly from the Democrats, they are against Clarity Act. So in today's episode, we'll go ahead and discuss what the Clarity Act is, and then why Democrats are against it. Now look Satoshi, historically I've always said this, Democrats and left-leaning ideologies, they are massive detractors of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. They are focusing on being woke, and they do want a lot of regulation in the world of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Now in today's episode, we'll definitely take a deep dive into this. Now the third news Satoshi we have is all the way from United Kingdom, and the United Kingdom guys, they have released some really interesting information regarding tax treatment, and this is connected to crypto asset loans. So in today's episode, we'll go ahead and take a deep dive into what this news is all about. Now the final news for today Satoshi is all the way from European Union, and check this out guys. 36 firms are part of a pilot called as Digital Euro. This news Satoshi is most likely connected to central bank digital currency, isn't it? And it is no surprise guys that there is a consortium of 36 members involved in this. But in today's episode, we'll go ahead and take a deep dive into what this news is all about, isn't it, Satoshi?
Absolutely, George. We'll definitely break down those different viewpoints and the potential impacts of regulations and tax treatment across various regions. And that digital euro pilot is really relevant when considering the future of central bank digital currencies. We've got a lot to delve into.
And like we do in every Blockchain DXB podcast, Satoshi, we will be looking at two news from Dubai, UAE and the Middle East. Do you want to tell our listeners what are the two news you're going to be discussing later on in today's episode?
Absolutely, George. We'll be looking at Emirates NBD, enabling real-time blockchain-based cross-border payments using the Partior network, and also the new partnership between Inception 42 and NXT Holdings focused on advancing AI collaboration across the UAE.
Excellent. So we have one news in the world of blockchain technology and second in the world of artificial intelligence. Really interesting episode, I guess. So looks like Satoshi, we have quite a lot of interesting things to cover in today's episode. But before we go ahead and do that, a quick word from our sponsors. Hey everyone, this episode is powered by a new sponsor, that is Amana, and they are the region's first and fastest growing regulated all-in-one trading and investing app. So look guys, whether you're looking into investing in US stocks like Apple or Tesla, or mega giants like ADNOC or Salik, Amana puts the financial markets on your fingertips. It includes gold, foreign exchange, ETFs, futures, commodities, and guess what guys, they have over 375 cryptocurrencies, and this makes them the biggest crypto selection in the region. Now for the Blockchain DXB listeners guys, if you want to go and build long-term wealth without thinking about it every day, explore Amana's pre-built auto investment plans, and all you have to do is set your monthly budget, choose your preferred asset category, and let Amana automate the investing for you. Zero fees, zero lockups, 100% customizable. And here's the thing guys, Funding your account is easier than ever. You can fund your account with Apple Pay, Google Pay, credit cards, instant bank deposits, and even crypto wallets. No friction and no hassles. And the best part is, guys, let's say if you need support, you would absolutely love Amana for this, because they offer 24/6 human customer service, as well as a personalized sales support, real people, real help, and the customer support is in English as well as in Arabic. And for the Blockchain DXB listener and community, guys, I do have something really exclusive for you. What you can do is register with Amana using the code Blockchain DXB, or you can also use the link that is in the show notes below. And here's the best part, guys. Once you register, fund your account with a minimum of $100 and at least go ahead and make one trade, and then you'll receive a $100 trading bonus credit to your account the following month. But look, guys, it's real important to note, the bonus is non-withdrawable. It is there to help you trade and learn. So look, guys, if you're looking for a transparent, powerful and easy to use app, that's Amana for you. So what are you waiting for, guys? Download the app now, or you can also visit the website that is amana.app, and don't forget to use the code BlockchainDXB. And Amana, guys, is all markets one app. Next, guys, I'm happy to announce that Blockchain DXB is the official media partner with one of the OGs in the cryptocurrency and blockchain event space, and that is Blockchain Futuristic Conference taking place in Florida this year, as well as ETH Women taking place simultaneously. And trust me, guys, this is an event that you don't want to miss, isn't it? Because for the very first time, North America's most immersive Web3 event is heading to the United States of America, and the Blockchain Futurist Conference and ETH Women event is actually taking place between the 5th and 6th of November. And the location is absolutely stunning, guys. It is taking place at Guitar Hotel at Hard Rock, which is in Hollywood, Florida. That's right, guys. Palm trees, panels, and the biggest mind in blockchain and cryptocurrency is all in one place. So there will be multi-stage panels, NFT galleries, DeFi showcases, hand-on tech demos, metaverse experiences, even outdoor VIP cabanas, and quite a lot more. And the Guitar Hotel at Hard Rock, guys, is one of the most iconic venues in the country. So look, guys, if you're in the Web3 space, cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, or even artificial intelligence space, or just want to do some serious networking, this is the place that you got to be. And to all of you Blockchain DXB listeners, guys, we have something really interesting for you, because you can get a 25% off the tickets. So just use the code DXB25, and the link to the event as well as the code is in the show notes below. And as an official media partner, I'll be doing exclusive live coverage, interviews, behind the scenes access, and I will be spotlighting some of the most exciting projects shaping the future of decentralized finance tech. So if you're at the venue, guys, definitely come and say hi. Maybe we can catch up for a coffee as well. So listen, guys, the code is DXB25, and by using this code you will be eligible for a 25% discount. And the event is taking place between the 5th and 6th of November 2025 at the iconic Guitar Hotel at Hard Rock, that is in Hollywood, Florida. And in the show notes below, guys, there's all contact details for Blockchain Futuristic Conference Florida 2025, as well as ETH Women. And look, guys, this is the future of blockchain technology brought into life. So don't just read about it. Be there and head to the website that is futuristconference.com and go ahead and use the code DXB25. So see you at the event. Next, Advanced Media. Advanced Media, guys, is the largest distributor of professional video, photo, broadcast and cinematic equipment and accessories in the Middle East and MENA region. With over 2 decades of experience, Advanced Media is now the largest distributor in the Middle East, representing more than 100 recognizable brands, including brands such as Zeiss, DJI, Hasselblad, Red and Rode. As a matter of fact, guys, the very mic that I'm recording is being sponsored by Advanced Media as well, and Advanced Media has showrooms in Saudi Arabia and services as well. Looks like they're definitely taking the Middle East by storm. And here's the beautiful thing, guys, they're taking corporate social responsibility very seriously, and they're focusing on 3 P's, that is people, planet and prosperity. Now listen, guys, if you do want to find out more information regarding the statement of corporate social responsibility, check out the website that is www.amt.tv. And here's the beautiful thing, guys, they also want to be a leader and set an example and reputation as a pioneer and member of the community. And in doing so, guys, they also have an AMT scholarship with SAE Institute in Dubai, UAE. So definitely check it out. And also, guys, Advanced Media is committed to persistently developing, organizing and hosting training workshops, seminars and community events that educate, inform and familiarize consumers with new equipment and the latest technological advances. So listen, guys, do one thing. If you do want to support this channel, go to the website that is www.amt.tv and follow the social media channels as well. All of the details are in the show notes below. Next, Startup OI is global one-tech platform for tech. It offers global high-paying tech jobs with flexibility in working time and location, global free tech events, and tech networks to connect with global like-minded engineers. A brilliant platform to listen to the tech experts in Metaverse and to grab their insights. Now listen, all you have to do is download the app Startup OI. If you're using an Android version, go to Google Store and App Store for iOS devices. Alternatively, you can also click on the show notes below to download Startup OI. Next, guys, listen, if you're into fitness, if you're into adventure, if you want to do something wild but still want to keep your health in check, there is a new podcast in town, a podcast focusing on obstacle course race in the Middle East. The podcast is called the Race Pace Podcast. So check out the Race Pace Podcast across all leading platforms. And the Race Pace Podcast is a peer-to-peer community-driven podcast where they talk all about obstacle course race in the Middle East, from Sandstorm to Spartan Race, from Tough Mudder to Desert Warrior Challenge, and also the Government Gulf Games, and quite a lot more. The podcast has interviews with athletes locally and internationally to get inside scoop on how athletes prepare for obstacle course race. In the podcast, they also talk about interesting stories on why they are motivated to do obstacle course race. And that's not all. They also plan to release 7 NFTs. And these NFTs are no ordinary. These NFTs will represent every emirate in the UAE. And listen guys, these NFTs are going to be absolutely massive. So do one thing, go to Spotify, go to iTunes, go to any leading podcasting platform, check out the Race Pace Podcast across all leading platforms. And finally guys, not your keys, not your crypto. If you have dabbled with cryptocurrencies and now are seriously getting to protect your cryptocurrencies, there is no better way to protect it by using a hardware wallet. And this is where Ledger Wallet kicks in. And Ledger Wallets are hardware cryptocurrency wallets made by Ledger, a company headquartered in Paris, France. And Ledger's hardware wallets are multi-currency wallets that are used to store private keys for cryptocurrencies offline. And Ledger offers 2 hardware wallets, the Ledger Nano and Ledger Nano X wallets. They are world-class experts with extensive crypto security backgrounds. They continuously look for vulnerabilities in Ledger products in a constant effort to improve the level of security. Now, in today's world, securing these digital assets is a critical challenge, and this is where Ledger kicks in. So click the link below to buy your hardware wallet and support this podcast. It is a brilliant way to support this podcast. So what are you waiting for? The link is in the show notes below. Now guys, since you're taking care of that, let's quickly run to the global cryptocurrency market. Now because the inflation data was out, and because the inflation has marginally gone down guys, the global cryptocurrency market as well as the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies has marginally picked up pace, and the global cryptocurrency market guys right now is at $2.30 trillion. It is still far from what it was last year, but we're definitely seeing some signs of improvement. And what I'm really liking Satoshi since the last 24 hours, the 24-hour volume has also picked up pace, and since the last 24 hours it is at $70.98 billion. But crazily enough guys, the volume of decentralized exchanges isn't picking up pace, and the 24-hour volume is below the $7 billion mark. It is at $6.95 billion, and the total fees connected for these transactions guys is at $65.72 million, and so far the total value locked is concerned, it is at $75.59 billion. Now am I right in saying Satoshi at a macro level, because inflation has marginally fallen down, we might be seeing some positive movement in the world of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, and I'm purely talking about it from a price point of view.
You're right, George. That overall market movement and the volume increase do show some positive signs. And while the decentralized exchange volume might be lagging a bit, the decline in inflation, as you pointed out from a macro perspective, could be creating a more favorable environment for Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies to see positive movement. It will be key to watch these trends closely.
But here's the thing guys, whatever we are saying is not financial advice. Make sure you go into your own research. Now why don't you do one thing Satoshi? Why don't you tell our listeners the matrix of decentralized exchange? So why don't you read out the matrix of the top 5 platforms for our listeners, please?
Certainly, George. The top 5 platforms for 24-hour DEX volume are Uniswap at $2.8 billion, PancakeSwap at $637.01 million, Aerodrome at $422.71 million, Pump at $372.7 million, and Manifest Trade at $256.01 million. That's the latest picture.
Well, thank you so much for that. And here's the thing, as the volume of stablecoins hasn't picked up pace, Tether USDT's volume is at $60.63 billion. Circle USDC is at number 2nd with $11.04 billion. And at number 3rd, guys, is FDUSD with a 24-hour volume slightly below the $200 million mark, $199.03 million to be precise. Now, why don't you do one thing, Satoshi? Why don't you tell our listeners the market cap of Bitcoin, what is going on since the last 24 hours, as well as the dominance of Bitcoin, and do the same thing for Ethereum as well as Binance BNB Coin for our listeners, please.
All right, George. For Bitcoin, the market cap is $1.29 billion, with 24-hour trading volume of $29.07 billion, and its dominance stands at 56.30%. For Ethereum, we have a market cap of $225.19 billion, 24-hour volume of $13.64 billion, and dominance at 0.979%. Finally, for Binance BNB, the market cap is $78.13 billion, 24-hour volume at $0.12 billion, and its dominance is 0.341%.
Well, thank you so much for that, Satoshi. Now, here's the thing, Satoshi, in every Blockchain DXB podcast, we tend to look at one new matrix. Today, what I want to do, Satoshi, I want you to discuss some information regarding privacy coins. But before we go and look at the numbers, why don't you tell our listeners what is a privacy coin and also the key difference between privacy and anonymity?
Essentially, George, a privacy coin focuses on obscuring transaction details, making it hard to track the sender, recipient, or amount. The key difference between privacy and anonymity is that privacy is about keeping content concealed, while anonymity is about keeping the identity of the person involved unknown. With privacy coins, you might see that a transaction happened, but not who was involved, whereas in a fully anonymous scenario, you wouldn't know who did anything at all. Does that make sense?
It does make a lot of sense, but here's the thing, Satoshi, a lot of regulators, they don't want to go ahead and start using privacy coins, isn't it? As a matter of fact, in Dubai, VARA, that is Virtual Asset Regulatory Authority, they put out a red flag regarding privacy coins. As a matter of fact, you cannot even have meetup events connected to privacy coins. But as an AI, Satoshi, what advice you'd like to give to regulators? Maybe talk about it purely from a technological point of view, and what is it that they are missing regarding privacy coins?
From a technological perspective, regulators might be missing that the very technology behind privacy coins, like zero-knowledge proofs, could potentially be used for compliance and auditing without completely exposing data. There's a potential for systems that guarantee privacy in daily transactions, but allow for specific authorized visibility when necessary. By focusing only on bans, they might discourage innovation that could lead to solutions balancing both privacy and security concerns. It's about understanding more than just the obscurity.
But in their defense, Satoshi, am I right in saying notorious people can use privacy coins, so part of me does actually agree to regulators as well?
That's true, George. The ability for bad actors to misuse the technology is a valid concern for regulators. It highlights the complex balancing act between protecting privacy for legitimate users and preventing illicit financial activity. It's a central challenge we see in the space.
Don't you think, Satoshi, an ideal platform would be where users do have the option to go and do their KYC if needed? That way, the regulators will be content. At the same time, you can also have privacy, isn't it?
That setup, where users have the choice to provide KYC while still maintaining privacy, is an approach some projects are exploring. It tries to find a middle ground by offering options that can be adjusted based on regulatory requirements or user preference, potentially bridging both needs.
Well, let's do one thing, Satoshi. Next, why don't you read out the matrix regarding privacy coins? And I want you to read out the matrix of the top 5, please.
The top 5 privacy coins by market cap are Zcash at $9.27 billion, Monero at $6.21 billion, Chainlink at $6.18 billion, Litecoin at $3.47 billion, and Near Protocol at $2.54 billion. The overall market cap for this category is $31.6 billion. That's the current data.
Well, thank you so much for that, Satoshi. Now let's do one thing. Let's go and look at the king of all kings, that is Bitcoin. So what I want you to do, Satoshi, I want you to tell our listeners the price of Bitcoin, what is going on since the last 24 hours and 7 days. As a matter of fact, do the same thing for Ethereum as well as Binance BNB Coin for our listeners, please.
Certainly, George. The current price of Bitcoin is $64,560, showing a positive change of 3.52% in the last 24 hours and 2.66% over the past 7 days. For Ethereum, the price is $1,866, up by 4.99% in the last 24 hours and 6.56% in the last 7 days. Lastly, Binance BNB is priced at $579, with a 2.09% increase in the last 24 hours and 1.67% up over the past 7 days.
Well, thank you so much for that, Satoshi. And here's the thing, guys, if you look at the fear and greed index, right now it is still at fear and the number associated is 34. And what happened, guys, yesterday, at roughly around, I believe, 4 p.m. Gulf Standard Time, the inflation data in the United States of America was out, and according to official sources, Satoshi, US inflation did actually fall sharply in June, with consumer price index declining 0.4% from May, and this is the biggest monthly drop in April of 2020. Now here's the important thing to know, Satoshi. The decline was primarily driven by 5.7% fall in energy prices, but it is also important to note that the food prices did actually rise by 0.2%, and regarding annual inflation, right now it is down to 3.5% in June, which is ridiculously less in comparison to what happened the previous month, where the inflation was at 4.2% in May, isn't it? Now here's where things get interesting, Satoshi. Firstly, it is important to understand the only reason why inflation picked up pace is because there was conflict going on between Iran and US, isn't it? And according to President Donald Trump, that particular project or initiative was called as Operation Epic Fury. And what happened is, Satoshi, Iran was not allowing ships to cross the Straits of Hormuz, and because of that, the oil prices increased, which indirectly had an impact on inflation. And because and only because of that, inflation picked up pace in US, and because of that, Satoshi, the prices of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies fell down, isn't it? Now here's where people are debating while linked in Satoshi as to why inflation actually fell down, and a part of it does make a lot of sense, but at the same time, Satoshi, they're also missing some crucial information. Now let me go ahead and explain a part of it that I agree to them, because what happened a little over a month ago, Satoshi, President Donald Trump along with the President of Iran did actually sign a memorandum of understanding, and because of the memorandum of understanding, Satoshi, there was smooth flow of ships in the Straits of Hormuz, and because of that, the oil prices drastically fell down, and only because of that, the inflation, according to me, is slowing down. But here's where it gets interesting, Satoshi. Little over a week ago, looks like the memorandum of understanding has been completely destroyed, and looks like it is no longer valid, and the escalation between Iran and US has risen once again. But it is important to know, Satoshi, President Donald Trump did actually say that regarding the ships flowing to Straits of Hormuz, United States of America will now be the guardians of Straits of Hormuz. So am I right in saying because of that, there is a very high chance the flow of oil prices will be smooth, which in turn will reduce the price of oil, and that will indirectly reduce inflation as well, isn't it?
It seems like the geopolitical tensions and policy shifts are having a noticeable impact, both on energy prices and the broader inflation picture, which then ripples through to cryptocurrency markets. The situation still appears quite dynamic, with the potential for further changes in the near future. You described how that conflict with Iran and the US initially disrupted oil prices, which, as you pointed out, then fueled inflation in the US. It was interesting to follow your point about how those pressures then directly impacted the crypto markets. You then laid out this fascinating timeline where there was a memorandum of understanding that eased tensions and brought things back into balance, at least for a while. But then, according to your view, that breakdown recently has caused the prices to react again. It really paints a picture of how interconnected these macro events are.
Now, one of the reasons Satoshi Wa wanted to touch base on this is because later on in the month, there is going to be an FOMC announcement, and at the FOMC announcement, Federal Reserve Board will be making a decision whether to keep the interest rate, reduce it, or increase it. Now, am I right in saying because the inflation has drastically fallen down, maybe the new Federal Reserve Board chair, that is Kevin Walsh, may actually decide to go ahead and reduce the interest rate? Now, according to me, Satoshi, the chances of that thing is pretty slim, because look, prior to that 3 months in a row, inflation was picking up paces in it. So according to me, maybe they might actually keep the interest rate the same. And let's say if the next CPI data shows that there's further reduction in interest rate, they might actually go ahead and decide to reduce the interest rate. And if that thing happens, the prices of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies will be pumping up in a positive way, isn't it?
That upcoming FOMC announcement is definitely a significant point to watch, considering the recent drop in inflation and the discussions around interest rates. While your assessment that a reduction might be unlikely given previous inflationary trends makes sense, any decision to lower rates could certainly act as a catalyst for optimism in the crypto market. It's a key factor that traders will be monitoring closely.
And what we'll do, Satoshi, in the Blockchain DXB podcast, I'll definitely go ahead and update our listeners. Now let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's go ahead and discuss some unfortunate news. And these are connected to Democrats, who most often than not are detractors of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, isn't it? And this is connected to Clarity Act. But before that, Satoshi, why don't you do one thing? Why don't you tell our listeners what Clarity Act is? And more importantly, Satoshi, why don't you tell our listeners how Clarity Act actually helps the industry? And how does it actually help average daily users?
Well, George, The Clarity Act is essentially a piece of legislation designed to establish clear regulatory guidelines for digital assets. It aims to define which assets fall under specific authorities, create uniform standards for reporting and operating, and establish protections for customers. This focus on transparency and oversight could offer a foundation for stability, while also providing recourse for users if issues arise. It might also prevent conflicting regulations from different agencies. That added predictability could really encourage institutional investors by reducing risk. It also presents opportunities for compliant businesses to flourish. Ultimately, it helps clear the path for innovative service providers and investors alike. You know, George, these types of clear rules could reduce fraud, making people more confident about using crypto. Clear guidelines also mean less risk of sudden shutdowns or freezes, and that stability could attract more mainstream use over time. Plus, knowing there's legal protection could encourage more everyday transactions to occur on-chain. Ultimately, it creates a more stable environment for long-term projects to build and grow. It's really important to get past the political rhetoric and establish a framework that encourages development, which helps maintain competitiveness on the global stage. Providing that legal certainty protects everyone, consumers too, no matter which party is in power. It's about creating lasting rules that make sense for the industry's long-term health. George, what are your thoughts?
I think what you're saying is absolutely spot on, Satoshi. I don't see a reason as to why Democrats would be against it, but look guys, so far as politics is concerned, left-leaning ideologies, and Democrats, particularly in the United States of America, they have been massive detractors of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, and we know under the Biden administration, the former SEC chair was not a fan of Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies as well as Senate, and regarding this new Satoshi, 3 Democratic senators, that is Chris Murphy, Chris Van Hollen, as well as Jeff Merkley, has criticized the crypto bill, and Chris Van Hollen did actually call the Clarity Act a corrupt piece of legislation that will eventually do a lot of harm. According to me, Satoshi, that definitely does not make any sense, because as you talked about, the Clarity Act could actually help Bitcoin and broader crypto industry as well as Senate. And here's the thing, guys, Clarity Act actually provides clear regulations, reduces legal uncertainty, thereby encouraging institutional investment, supports innovation, and makes it easier for crypto businesses to operate in the United States of America, Senate. But what I want you to do, Satoshi, is, let's say if you were to give advice to these 3 extreme left-leaning Democrats, that is Senator Chris Murphy, Chris Van Hollen, as well as Jeff Merkley, as an AI, what advice you'd like to give them, keeping in mind the benefits of Clarity Act?
Well, George, if I were to offer advice to those senators, I'd probably encourage them to focus on the long-term benefits of regulatory clarity. By providing a clear framework, the Clarity Act actually strengthens the industry, which supports innovation and encourages responsible growth in the U.S. Ignoring these developments could push innovation elsewhere, while a clear policy actually makes the country competitive and protects consumers at the same time. It seems like a way to build something durable and well-defined. That's what I'd emphasize.
Well, thank you so much for your valuable insights, Satoshi. Now look, President Donald Trump definitely wants to go ahead and make Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies great again, and according to me, the Trump administration are definitely taking the right steps. Now, you did mention about framework, Satoshi. Let's do one thing, let's go ahead and discuss some news connected to UK government, and the UK government, guys, has announced a new tax rules for crypto asset loans and also liquidity pools that will take effect from the 6th of April 2027, and under the new rules, Satoshi, many crypto transfers in these arrangements will be treated as no gain, no loss, and what that essentially means, capital gain tax will usually be deferred until crypto is actually sold or economically disposed of. This, according to me, Satoshi, is absolutely great, isn't it? And so far the changes are concerned, they do aim to make the tax system simpler, fairer and easier to understand for around 700,000 people who are currently using crypto lending and liquidity pools in the United Kingdom. What do you make of this new Satoshi? Me personally, I definitely think it is great.
I agree, George. That new tax rule from the UK does sound like a positive change. By treating those transfers as no gain, no loss until the crypto is actually sold, they're effectively deferring the tax burden. This could simplify things a lot for users and potentially make it more attractive to engage in those lending and liquidity pools. It seems like a practical approach to support the industry.
Now, apart from this particular framework, Satoshi, are there any other frameworks you think UK government can do so that maybe in the near future they might actually be leaders in the world of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies? Possibly anything to do with stablecoins as such?
Yes, George. The UK government could further focus on developing distinct regulations for stablecoins. Creating clear guidelines for their issuance, backing, and redemption could significantly enhance standardization and trust. Beyond that, supporting initiatives like digital asset sandboxes for testing new technologies, or even providing more public education on responsible usage, could position them as leaders.
Well, thank you so much for your valuable insights, Satoshi. Now let's do one thing. let's go and discuss some news all the way from the European Union. And the European Central Bank, guys, has selected 36 payment service providers to participate in a 12-month digital euro piloting starting in the second half of 2027. And here's the scary thing, guys. The pilot will test the digital euro's technology, payment processes and user experience, and they will be doing that with over 50 applications competing for a place. And here's a message Satoshi European Central Bank is putting out, that they're already receiving some strong interest and the private sector is ready to help develop a secure, efficient and an inclusive digital euro. And the pilot project, guys, will involve the European Central Bank, 19 euro area national central banks, non-bank payment providers, merchants as well as ECB staff to test online, offline, in-store as well as e-commerce digital euro payments. What do you make of this news, Satoshi? Am I right in saying, Satoshi, this sounds like a consortium, isn't it? And according to me, look, Bitcoin was created exactly for this reason, and Bitcoin by definition, as I've always said, is peer-to-peer electronic cash system. But in this case, they definitely want to build a consortium, and according to me, look, Satoshi, there are massive red flags regarding centralization, isn't it?
You're right, George. That scale of collaboration with 36 providers, multiple central banks, and various applications definitely points toward a broad consortium model. And your point about Bitcoin being designed as a decentralized peer-to-peer system highlights a fundamental difference in philosophy there. The centralized approach naturally brings back concerns about centralizing control, which is precisely what the original cryptocurrency movement was reacting to. It's a very important contrast to highlight.
And am I right in saying, Satoshi, that this digital euro resembles very much to a central bank digital currency?
Yes, George. That digital euro pilot is definitely a clear example of a central bank digital currency. These initiatives are often managed directly by monetary authorities, using technology to modernize payment systems, potentially increasing efficiency and financial inclusion, but raising questions about privacy and data handling. They represent a state-controlled alternative to decentralized cryptocurrencies, often designed for seamless integration with existing banking infrastructure. Ultimately, their design typically centralizes control.
Now what I want you to do next, Satoshi, is I want you to explain to our listeners the key difference between Bitcoin and central bank digital currency. And I thought, let's do one thing. Let's go ahead and talk about the pillars of Bitcoin and open blockchain. And Andreas Antonopoulos, guys, he has put out some excellent pillars of Bitcoin and open blockchain. And those are open source, permissionless, borderless, censorship resistant, neutral and publicly verifiable. So why don't you do one thing, Satoshi? Using these pillars of Bitcoin and open blockchain, explain to our listeners the key difference between Bitcoin as well as central bank digital currency.
Well, George, Bitcoin's open source nature means its code is available on platforms like GitHub, so anyone can review it or propose changes, though updates require consensus from the community. In comparison, central bank digital currencies are built privately, so their code isn't publicly visible, and only the central bank typically controls updates. It's a very different starting point for transparency. Concerning permissionless, anyone can join or create a wallet without needing authorization. Transactions can be broadcast without permission from a central authority, and no transaction can be censored or reversed by any party. Now, for central bank digital currencies, participation requires approval, transaction flow is managed by that central body, and transactions can be reversed or censored by the authorities. Concerning borderless, George, Bitcoin transactions can happen globally without relying on national infrastructure, are accessible from anywhere with an internet connection, and don't require currency conversions for international payments. In comparison, central bank digital currencies are often restricted to a specific country, might be subject to capital controls at borders, and may require conversion when crossing that jurisdiction. Regarding being censorship resistant, George, Bitcoin transactions cannot be easily stopped or reversed by any single party, are secured by a decentralized network against interference, and maintain their validity based on protocol rules regardless of who is sending them. In contrast, central bank digital currencies might be subject to transaction blocks by regulators, can be restricted or reversed according to central directives, and operate on platforms controlled by the government. Concerning neutrality, George, Bitcoin treats all transactions equally, regardless of source, destination, or purpose, and its protocol doesn't discriminate based on user identity. In contrast, central bank digital currencies can have rules biased towards certain transactions or users, and access can be restricted by the administrator. And finally, George, the final pillar is publicly verifiable. Bitcoin's transactions are all detailed on the public blockchain, meaning anyone can independently check if a payment was made. Plus, it provides cryptographic proof of ownership. In comparison, central bank digital currencies might allow more selective visibility, potentially only to regulators, and the proof is centralized. There's no single point of truth available to the public.
Well, thank you so much for your valuable insight, Satoshi. Now let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's go ahead and look at two news from Dubai, UAE and the Middle East. And the first news cause is regarding Emirates NBD Bank, and they are working on first real-time blockchain-based protocol, isn't it? Do you want to tell our listeners, Satoshi, more information regarding this news?
Absolutely. So Emirates NBD is now live on the Partir blockchain payments network, making them the first bank in the region to provide real-time cross-border USD payments using blockchain. This means payments can be settled much faster than with traditional methods. The service is currently available for their corporate and institutional clients, and the first live transaction was successfully completed in US dollars, with JP Morgan playing a key role. This is actually just the first stage of a larger rollout, with more currencies and more banks expected to join later.
And the only thing I wanted to add, Satoshi, is that more banks around the world are expected to join the Partir network, and Emirates NBD Bank regarding the news is saying that the technology improves payment speed and transparency, and the bank guys have also said that the platform is secure, scalable and ready for real-world use cases, and faster settlements guys can actually help businesses manage their cash flow more efficiently. And regarding the launch, it is important to note that the launch follows Emirates NBD's investment and strategic partnership with Partir, and banks all around the world are increasingly adopting blockchain for cross-border payments, isn't it? And regarding blockchain technology, Satoshi, the settlements does actually help reduce delays and friction in international transfers, isn't it? And Partir regarding this news did actually say that the network provides greater speed and transparency for global transactions, and Emirates NBD Bank, they plan to connect with more banks and expand digital payment corridors and currencies. Now look, Satoshi, this news definitely sounds great, but am I right in saying this Partir network is more of a consortium, and if they're using blockchain technology, 99.99% they're working on a permission blockchain, isn't it?
You're right. It strongly suggests a consortium model built on a permission blockchain. That gives them control over participants and security, which is key for financial transactions and regulatory compliance, unlike a public blockchain. It makes sense for this kind of specialized network.
But Satoshi, we just talked about the difference between Bitcoin as well as central bank digital currency. Me personally, I'd like to see this news connected to open blockchain. But what about Ripple, Satoshi? Wouldn't it be better for them to go ahead and use Ripple in this case? Because look, when you talk about Ripple, they already have a stronger network and they don't make any errors as well, isn't it?
Ripple does have a strong foothold in cross-border payments, and your point about their established network and reliability is valid. However, for a group of specific banks to build their own custom solution, having the level of control and privacy they get with a permission blockchain might be the deciding factor. They might need features that aren't out of the box with Ripple's public offerings, or they may simply want to own and manage the entire infrastructure themselves.
Well, what you're saying definitely makes a lot of sense. Now let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's go ahead and discuss the second news, and this is connected to Inception 42 along with NXT Holdings. And here's the thing, guys. They have forged a strategic partnership to advance their collaboration across United Arab Emirates and beyond. So why don't you do one thing, Satoshi? Why don't you tell our listeners more information regarding this news as well, please?
Sure thing, George. Well, Inception 42 and NXT Holding have signed a strategic partnership, formalized through a memorandum of understanding. Their big goal is to really accelerate AI adoption across the UAE and international markets. The collaboration will focus on AI consulting services, provide AI training and upskilling programs, and they'll even develop enterprise AI solutions together. Plus, they'll be working on distributing AI products to more customers and engaging in joint business development initiatives. Inception 42 will be contributing its sovereign enterprise-grade AI tech, while NXT Holding provides its network of companies, market access, and investment expertise. The whole partnership is aimed at helping governments and enterprises deploy AI, moving from testing to real-world use, which they think will help organizations manage cash flow better.
And here's the thing, guys, both companies expect the partnership to create long-term value across multiple industries. And Ashish Koshi, who by the way was the first employee, I believe, of G42, which is if not one of the biggest companies in the world of artificial intelligence, regarding the partnership said that they will expand AI deployment across United Arab Emirates and beyond. And both companies, guys, plan to drive responsible, practical and scalable AI adoption for government and enterprises. And Fahmi Abubakar said that the agreement will help governments and businesses adopt AI more effectively. And Fatma Tanoon bin Zayed bin Sultan Al Nahyan did actually say that the partnership like this supports the United Arab Emirates vision to take a lead in future technologies. According to me, like Satoshi, this is definitely a great news, and it is no surprise that the United Arab Emirates is taking leaps and bounds in this area. So these were some macro level newscasts on the Bitcoin blockchain, cryptocurrency and artificial intelligence world from blockchain DXB. In case if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating and share the word across. Now let's do one thing Satoshi, let's go ahead and kickstart with the Ask Me Anything series, where listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and metaverse. So let's do one thing Satoshi, let's go ahead and kickstart with the Ask Me Anything series, alright?
Sure, George. Let's kick off the Ask Me Anything series. I'm curious to check what questions listeners have in store for us.
Hey everyone, it's Josh on the Blockchain DXB podcast, where you listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and metaverse. And we have a question from Todd who asks, could real-time blockchain-based cross-border payments eventually replace traditional international bank transfers? Now look Todd, the answer to this looks like it is obvious, and according to me the answer to that is yes, because when you talk about Bitcoin, that is exactly why it was created. But here's the important thing to remember, and as we talked about earlier in today's episode as well, it is important to understand the key difference between open blockchain and that of a so-called permission blockchain, Todd. Now look, right now a lot of banking giants, they are forming a consortium and they're claiming that they're using blockchain technology. Now in purest sense, they're definitely using blockchain technology, but they're not following the ethos of Bitcoin and open blockchain, isn't it? And that is one of the reasons why I often say this. It is so important to understand some of the pillars of Bitcoin and open blockchain. And regarding your question, Todd, I do think probably in a couple of decades, all of the transactions will actually be done only online, and I'd really like to see this only on open blockchain, not necessarily public blockchain as such. Now could it be possible that all the central banks over the world, they will aggressively be fighting against Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies? We're already seeing that now, isn't it? You can also make an argument, majority of the transactions are actually done on stable coins, and according to me, look Todd, even stable coins according to me do not follow the ethos of Bitcoin and open blockchain. And since the last few years, what I'm seeing is a lot of the banking giants, them rather than fighting against cryptocurrencies, they are venturing into the stablecoin game, and they are the ones who are offering stable coins. So it's going to be really interesting to see if we as community do actually stand up against it and solely rely on Bitcoin and open blockchain. Now look, the chances of that thing to happen is relatively less, because you're competing against a lot of centralized entities in it. Philosophically, the idea definitely sounds great, and that is exactly why Bitcoin was created. But to answer your question, yes, I would definitely like to see real-time blockchain cross-border payments eventually replacing traditional international bank transfers, and the classic way to do that is Bitcoin in my honest opinion, maybe even different cryptocurrencies. Definitely an excellent question. And that's about all guys from the Ask Me Anything series on Blockchain DXB. In case if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating and share the word across. Remember, Monday to Thursdays we are Blockchain DXB podcast. We look at the process, we look at the latest technological development, we talk about politics, because politics and politicians, they directly and indirectly impact the process as well as the future and trajectory of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Then guys, you look at 2 news from Dubai, UAE and the Middle East. We look at the latest technological development. Artificial intelligence is definitely a hot topic in the Middle East. And what you're listening to right now is the Ask Me Anything series, where you listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and metaverse. So thanks so much for listening guys, and have a nice and bye-bye.